Join us for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show, March 29th and 30th at the Roundhouse in downtown Martinsburg, with over 120 exhibits and food trucks on the grounds. Diamond sponsor Pine Creek Structures is once again giving away an outdoor patio set that you can enter to win. This year's silent auction sponsor is the Sean Craig team at ERA Liberty Realty. The 2025 Home Show is the place to see home builders, remodelers, banks and lenders, landscaping companies, heating and air conditioning contractors, and more. Platinum level sponsors include DRB Homes, High Point Roofing, and Shenandoah Air Conditioning and Heating. Admission is always free, so stop by the Roundhouse and get information on your next home project March 29th and 30th. Gold sponsors include Panhandle Homes of Berkeley County, Petty Pest Control, Rankin Remodeling, and Smoots. Silver sponsors include Rentals Unlimited and Valley Shade and Shutter. Visit ephomeshow.com for more information.
It's time for the Martinsburg Home Show, brought to you by the Eastern Panhandle Home Builders Association. This is the area's largest home-related event with over 100 vendors. Let's go live to the Martinsburg Roundhouse at 100 East Liberty Street in historic downtown Martinsburg to join our broadcast team.
Three. Welcome into the 28th Annual Home Show down at the wonderful Roundhouse in Martinsburg. You are watching TV 10, listening on Doc Radio WNR. I am joined by my co-host and ever-loving friend, New York Times best-selling author, John Gilstrap. Welcome, John.
Good morning.
Your takeaways from yesterday?
Yesterday was a fun time. It was crowded here. It was packed.
It was really packed. We are joined by the mayor of Martinsburg and the head of the Eastern Panhandle Home Builders Association, Mr. Kevin Knowles.
I'm not your loving friend.
And my loving friend who hates chickens.
I never balk at that. No, you know what? Yesterday, I couldn't ask for a better day. Typically, as you know, you guys have been gracious enough to be here since we started down at the Roundhouse, and you're one of our best sponsors, and we do appreciate everything that you do for the Home Builders Association. This yesterday was twice as big of a crowd than we've ever had on a Saturday. Granted, they probably all came at once because it was slammed here for a while, and then later on the day it kind of slowed down. So today is going to be the measuring stick for us.
There you go.
That Sundays have typically been slow, partially because of the weather the last couple of years. But we got beautiful weather here today, free parking. We have shuttles running throughout the city to bring people down here, and we're hoping to surpass over 6,000 people. We've been averaging 5,000 a year with the cold weather. Mm-hmm. So if we break 6,000 here, we're going to be excited about it.
Yeah, and if you're listening at home or getting out of church or something like that, come on, stop on by. What have you heard from the vendors so far, Kev?
Well, it's always a mixed response. I mean, I have my food vendors out there. I have 3 food vendors that said it was the best Saturday they ever had. Then I have another one said that it was pretty slow. And that's probably a matter of choice. Inside here, you talk to some about the crowd was huge and big, and some people were here, like they call them looky-loos or Halloweeners. They just come and get to pick up the stuff that they have out. But I talked to some others, and it's the best show that they've ever been to. Not only here, but all the way down into the D.C. area. And when I hear stuff like that, especially not only as executive officer of the Eastern Panhandle Home Builders Association, but as the mayor of Martinsburg, I mean, this brings an awful lot of stuff to the city, and we open up our city to this type of event. And fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, it's once a year, 1 week in a year. And one of the reasons why I chose to have the home show here at the Roundhouse is I wanted to showcase our one of our brightest spots within the city, and what could happen if we were able to pull everything together and make this a viable venue, so that if we can do this for 1 weekend, bring 5,000-6,000, what can we do for 20 weekends throughout the year? So a lot of the moving parts.
Yeah, let's. I parked over at the train station this morning. I walked across the bridge and I looked back at how beautiful our train station is, and I looked at the city from there. Let's talk about this. future of the Roundhouse a little bit. Like, if we could dream of it, could this be a capital market like in Charleston or something? What is the vision that the city has for the Roundhouse?
Well, a vision from the city and a vision from the Roundhouse Authority could be different things. A vision from the county could be different things. I think we're all on the same page that, we'd like to be able to see something viable here, whether it be a music event venue or not. They've made some great strides here with Matt Umstead and his organization with the authority. They've got heat and air in the one building that's getting ready to be able to kick on. They have an elevator now, so they're going to start having more events in that building. But I guess the big picture is there really is no business plan or anything for what are we going to do with the Roundhouse. I mean, look around you. This is beautiful here, but unfortunately, there are so many guidelines laid out by the state. I think it's the historical part of the state.
Historic Society.
That you can only do certain things as far as bringing in, heat or air. I mean, one of the things I was trying to do this year was to hang heaters from the
rafters.
The rafters, but that's cast iron, and there's a weight. There's all kinds of weight things in the age. So, there's a lot of things that you would have to put together or overcome to be able to make this place a viable event year round. So, this time of year with this type of weather, it's beautiful. It's nice and it's very comfortable in here. It's a little warmer outside. Summertime, it's still a little bit cooler, but it still gets warm here in the summer. In the wintertime, it gets very cold in here.
Have you ever heard of any chatter about maybe getting a locomotive engine in here? Or is that not something that's really viable anymore because it's not hooked up to the train tracks?
Well, I don't want to say that that's not viable because here, I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Scranton has a place called Steamtown, and that organization, if you look it up or if you've ever been there, I mean, they have train rides, and look what they do in Elkins. They have those train rides. So the tracks aren't closed. I mean, they could be reopened for kind of tourist rides and stuff, but I don't know what the answer is on that, Mike, to be quite honest. Would I like to see some type of train system in here? Yeah. I would.
Or even just a display.
A display. Well, here, and then again, we were able to add more booths this year because there was less stuff that was inside here. So you get it in here, you're taking away the venue space, and it's very hard for them to get it in and get it back out again. So, those are things that you got to take into consideration. That what are you going to be? Are you going to be an event area? Are you going to be just a museum showcase?
What about the larger economic impact of something like this? I mean, there's a fair amount of parking here, but not nearly enough parking. So it spills up onto Martin Street and beyond, and there are a lot of businesses and restaurants and such. Do they see a lot of extra business on a weekend like this?
Most definitely. I mean, yesterday it was about 1 o'clock. I took a ride through downtown Martinsburg, and there wasn't a spot left in any of the parking lots. And fortunate enough for EPTA, it's been very nice enough to put the shuttle together for both days here to pick people up at those parking lots and bring them down. So, if not, it's an opportunity for those individuals that are walking up and down, that are going back into the downtown city district, whether they're spending money at this time, they're going to come back because our downtown district right now is booming. We have a lot of really good things going on, and not too many storefronts that are not.
And I was just going to mention that there are not a lot of storefronts that are empty anymore. Lots of investment has been made, especially into small restaurants, small local restaurants in Martinsburg. I'm really liking the options that you have.
And high quality restaurants too.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. And I've been always wanting to put together some type of art stuff within the city. So I'm in the process now. I've asked someone to run come with ideas for the art district, and we hired an agency from the city to come in and take a look at our rules for the Historic Society, so that we can make clear-cut decisions. Instead of someone want to put a mural up or something like that, they have to jump through so many hoops to go to the Historical Society. We're going to try to eliminate that so that we can have an arts district overlaying the downtown historic district, which will enhance not only the arts, but it will enhance our downtown venues as far as your retail and also your restaurants.
Now, there was a rumor going around that there was going to be a Martinsburg or Berkeley County Arts and Culture Museum moving into Martinsburg or something like that. Is that something the city's exploring, or is that something that it needs to be done by a private or state entity?
Well, that has not been a conversation of the cities. I think that's a conversation the county has had. And, again, I think Matt Umstead has pretty much front-run that, him and maybe H.D. Boyd, but the city has not had any input on that. They have a couple of those buildings that they moved out in the downtown district, the old courthouse and the building next to it. So those I've heard those kind of conversations.
Is there any interest from the city standpoint in the old post office building that I noticed was for sale?
Now, you know what? No.
No.
The answer would be no, because we don't have a use for it, and we don't want to. We're not.
You're not into renovation.
We're not in the business to owning property. And,
right.
You know, contrary to a lot of people's belief is, you know, the city is just, you know, they're maintaining. We maintain very well. It's not like we have a big pocketbook that we could go out and start buying real estate. And, you know, we just did our budget this year. We're at a $53 million budget. And, you know, we offer a lot of services within the city that it just doesn't make financial sense for the government side, the city side, to buy something like that. Does that mean we wouldn't buy other things? We just bought that empty lot down on King Street.
Okay.
So, you know, there are thoughts and plans that may happen there.
Is that parking, or is that just...
Well, I think that's going to be a multiple use. There's a red building that's behind it that needs to be either demolished or upgraded, and then turn that into, whether it's a gazebo type things that you can have your markets there. You could have maybe ice skating in the wintertime. You know, those are the things that, you know, that we're looking at, and also as a place to display different types of art. You know.
So I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. You've probably talked to Rob about this over the last few weeks, but big win for the city. You just received a grant for the park system to put the trail, and please give me the details because I'm not.
Yeah. Well, we did. We received it, then they took it away.
Oh.
So when the new administration came in, they froze everything.
The new federal administration.
The federal administration. Okay. I mean, it was $20.8 million for our Creekside plan, our trail system. The trail system currently we have is a Frog Hollow Trail that's 1 mile long. The process is going to be taking it through town, through the creek there off of Queen Street, over to the ball field, and then all the way around. We're gonna redo Lake Thomas. There'll be some recreation and family type stuff there, and then the trail will come out and go into War Memorial, and also connect from where we're at on Queen Street to the Route 9 trail. So when it's all said and done, you're going to have a trail system about 20 miles long that you could walk, bike, run, skateboard from War Memorial Park to Charlestown. So
now that funding has been frozen or has been denied?
Frozen.
So,
like I said, I feel confident that that's gonna come through. I think this is just Kevin Knowles speaking. I think the beginning of what we're seeing is shock and awe, prove a point, and then, you know, keep in mind that our legislators have already taken credit. I think our federal legislators, Senator Capito and Senator Manchin, had already taken credit for all this stuff, and I can't imagine that they would pull the rug out of any of their feet.
And if this was to be approved, is this a multi-year project that would take place, or is it something that could be done in a matter of 18 months?
Well, to answer that is if everything went as planned as when we got it, we would have started doing it in June.
Okay.
But right now
we're ready
to go.
Okay.
And if it doesn't happen, it's going to happen, but it's going to happen at a much
slower pace.
And it could take 5 to 10 years to complete something like that if it's funded just by the city.
John, last question's yours.
Actually, a couple of them. This is a Home Builders Association event. So I presume that the fees that are paid for the booths and stuff go to the Home Builders Association.
Correct.
Does the city get a piece of this?
Not at all. We pay, the Home Builders Association pays the Roundhouse Authority a fee to rent the place for the weekend. The monies that we raise here for that organization goes to running the organization throughout the year, whether it be lobbying, anything we need to do to help educate the local membership. We have recently removed ourselves from the state organization and the national organization based on some financial decisions they made on the state side that we felt was not conducive to what our memberships were looking for. So, we do our own lobbying down in DC and in Charleston, and so that's where this money goes to help fuel the organization, to help everybody that you see here, whether there's some ordinances changes, whether there's some educational, whether there's some sponsorship stuff available. That's what it does.
Now, other events like this, I'm a Northern Virginia expat, and you can't go to an event like this and not pay to get in. But this one is free.
It's always been free, and this used to be at the mall in Martinsburg, and then it moved to Big Bucks Bingo, and then here we are today. But we feel that at this point that we don't need to attract have people pay to come in to see what we have. We take care. Most of the people you see here are members, and we feel that it's our obligation to be able to bring the people with as little obstacle as possible.
And I think we've been coming here 15 years, or we've been a member of the home show for about 15 years, and I think this is better than any of the ones before. I love the venue. I like the way the quality of the people that are down here. So I give you a lot of credit. I think it's been a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, if I couldn't do this without my staff, Jennifer and Sue Lynn, those girls. This is a 5-6 month plan that it takes to happen, and we were fortunate enough to sell it out 2 weeks prior to this, and then there's a lot of work that goes in here. I've been living here since Tuesday. I have a camper in the back to make sure everything is running smooth, and that we're taking care of the individuals that paid to be here.
Kevin, thank you so much. Congratulations on another successful home show. You are watching TV 10, listening on WRNR. We're going to take a 4-minute break, and we'll be right back.
Brown's Funeral Home and Cremations, Robert Fields & Sons, hope to see you at the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show on March 29th and 30th in the Martinsburg Roundhouse to learn about what they provide whenever a loved one has passed away. Their booth number is FS53, which is located just outside the silent auction. Brown's Funeral Home and Cremations is the trusted name in funeral services in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown Ranson. They're proudly serving the area since 1880 and are proud to be a part of the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show. The Larry DeMarco team at Century 21 Modern Realty Results is proud to be a gold-level sponsor for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show. If you're looking for a home in the tri-state, then come and visit us at our booth, which spans from number 35 to 36 inside the Martinsburg Roundhouse, just to the left of the west entrance. This year's home show will take place on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. We hope to see you at the Roundhouse for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show. Mark Hughes Plumbing and HVAC is here to solve your plumbing and heating problems while meeting your renovation needs. Now serving Berkeley, Jefferson, Hampshire, and Mineral counties. We're a family-owned and operated company that's fully licensed and insured. We can do kitchen and bathroom upgrades and remodels, plumbing, HVAC and light excavation, well pumps, water heaters, and drain clearing. Call 304-620-8013. Mark's Hughes Plumbing and HVAC. We look forward to working with you. You have choices when it comes to appliance repair, but before you call a large corporate chain, consider what BW Appliance brings to the table. BW Appliance Repair offers fast in-home appliance repair services to the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, including Jefferson County and Berkeley County. We strive for professionalism, dedication, and honesty. Call us today at 304-279-8858 to schedule immediate service. You can also visit us online at bwappliance.repair.
March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. In West Virginia, colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in men and women, yet it is one of the most preventable cancers. The American Cancer Society recommends screening at age 45 to 75 or younger if you have a family history or at an increased risk. Early detection through screening can save your life. For more information, call WB Medicine Gastroenterology Martinsburg at 304-596-6893.
Life is evolving. Over the past decade, the way we do almost everything has changed. Get on your phone, see something you like, click on it, and it shows up at your door. Why should the way you have your car serviced be any different? Why waste your time going to a dealership service department when Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet will come to you? They service all makes, all models, and offer full parts and labor warranties. Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet will come to your door or office and service your vehicle while you're doing what you need to be doing, conducting that business meeting or mowing the lawn. Why take time out of your busy schedule when you don't have to? Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet's friendly, knowledgeable staff will come to you where you live or where you work for full service maintenance, from oil changes to tire rotations, brakes, batteries, multi-point inspections. They handle it all. Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet is committed to delivering the best of the best to their customers. Trust them to service your vehicle where you're at home or at work. Skip the time-consuming and terminal wait at the dealership. Schedule your appointment at fordofhagerstown.com or HancockChevy.com.
At Carter Myers Automotive, what we do today will tomorrow become what we've done. That's why Owners Just Do More no longer defines us. Our work is never done because what we live by doesn't have a finish line. We care. Our company of owners is moving lives forward every day by finding more ways to care before, during, and after your purchase. Because when you're happy, so are we. Carter Myers Automotive. Proud to be the owners who just care more.
Welcome back to the 28th annual home show. We're down at the Roundhouse. I'm Mike Hornby, filling in for Rob. Obviously, that is a huge downgrade. Joined by my friend John Gilstrap, and we're joined in this segment by our good friend and sponsor of the show during the week, Eastern Panhandle Talk, Larry DeMarco and Charlotte Sherman from Century 21 Modern Realty Results. Larry, how has the event been for you? You and I have been doing this event in multiple locations for many years.
That's
How
right.
have you?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us back. We were here yesterday, Charlotte and I. We was teasing her.
Pull that closer to your mouth.
How's that, John?
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was teasing Charlotte yesterday how she stole the show. So I'm going to try to talk a little bit today. And that's
If we let you.
If you let me,
Okay.
please. Anyway,
How you doing, Charlotte?
Here we go.
Good. I'm good.
Let me block her. But no, honestly, I think Charlotte and I were just discussing this. This is probably our 27th year. She's been at it a little bit longer than me with the Home Builders Association, and I've been doing the home show since '97. It's my hump day. You know, when the home show comes around, that's spring. I know things are getting better. The market's probably getting more active. So we have a lot of fun.
So have we seen an influx of properties come onto the market recently because it is spring? Or is it the usual year to year, this is when people kind of test the market?
You can talk.
I still think the market's slow. We
Okay.
have low
Yeah, I
inventory. Our inventory is low. Springtime, obviously, is the time of year that most people, and it's a time of year that most people want to enter the market because everything's prettying up.
Mm-hmm.
Grass is getting greener, trees are blooming, so it's a good time, to market a home. But our inventory is still low. Market's
And
a little
you're
slow.
talking the whole of the Eastern Panhandle,
The
essentially.
whole Eastern Panhandle.
Okay.
So somebody's been in their house for 15 years. They want to put it on the market. But, you don't want to spend a lot of money to put it on the market, and there's all these excuses. How important is that new coat of paint, the neutral color, get rid of the orange kitchen, do the
Yeah.
how important is that?
You know, John, you're definitely going to get your return for that, and I think you know the answer to that question. But a lot of times if you call an agent, we can give you ideas that don't necessarily cost a lot of money, whether it's just simple cleaning or painting. But the first impression is huge. I mean, it sets precedent for everything that happens beyond. You go to the front door, if it's peeling paint, you just get kind of a negative mindset. So if it looks good when you enter the property, it just feels better as you walk through. If you take care of your house, they it shows in the offers that you're going to receive.
I remember we put our house on the market before we moved here. This would have been 2022, I guess. And we have very nice stuff. It was a very nice house. And real estate agent came in. I could see she was really got a little squirmy. And she just said, well, John, not everybody's a boomer. So, we had the colonial furniture and all of that. So, it was that horrible, half the furniture came out, and then the house sold in 20 minutes. But it's.
You have to use some diplomacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting conversations I've had is with a gentleman who sold a property in Washington, D.C., and he was actually selling an estate property here in Berkeley County, but his home was in Washington, D.C., and they were going to sell it, and they spent $10,000 to stage it. And he said, I got $10,000 plus back. He said it was the best thing I ever did to stage a home. Now, $10,000 is a little expensive in our market here in Berkeley County in West Virginia. But that brought into perspective sometimes the importance of preparing your home to put it on the market.
So the buyers these days, and I guess Larry and I have an experience where I did purchase a home about 18 months ago in order to renovate it. It was in quite the state, and we decided to go neutral, update. But the buyer that we eventually sold to was a young lady, and she completely gutted the whole house and changed it. So I felt like for each person to their own. Some people really do like the orange kitchen or a bright green room. Maybe starting with that blank canvas is what you're doing?
Yeah, you have to go with the odds on that. I mean, chances are, like flooring, we don't necessarily agree with changing the flooring because somebody else will come in and do their own thing.
Right.
But there's also such a thing as being neutral to market to the masses, so to speak.
Okay.
But yeah, that is kind of sad to dump a lot of money into it and make it pretty, and they have a different idea.
As long as they're buying it, it doesn't matter, right?
They paid the money for it, sure. Yeah.
So inventory in Martinsburg is still about the same as it was last year. Charlotte, you said we're not seeing a big drop?
No.
Or
It's about what it was last year.
when you look at the market in the future, are our prices stabilizing? Or are they still going up because we're still sought after?
Well, I think new construction, which generally, as a rule of thumb, sets your precedent on price, has gone up. I think that's due to building products increasing, the price increasing, labor cost increasing. So that's naturally going to have somewhat of an impact on existing homes. So I think we're still seeing price increases. A little, our market's been a little slow this winter, and so people who have been anxious to sell their homes have maybe negotiated a little more than what they would have wanted to, or what maybe they would have needed to do last summer. But I think going into the summer season here, I think prices are going to stay stable or they're going to rise a little bit.
And are we seeing still a lot of builders building new homes in the area?
They are, yeah. And the prices of the new homes continue to rise, and they continue to sell.
And one of the good things about that is it does put a little pressure on people like yourself, Mike, that will take an older home and put new life into it. So the beautiful thing about low inventory, or maybe the new construction being higher, it pushes people into an area where they'll take an older home, put some money into it, some love into it, and bring new life. I mean, you've done that several times.
Yeah. So how about somebody has sprinkled new home seeds all over, down Route 9 and these developments are coming up everywhere. And there's a sameness to these housing developments, and what kind of pressure does that put on the 20-year-old or 30-year-old or 60-year-old resale that I would argue has more character than the new homes, but it's also got older appliances and might have problems?
It's sad. Some areas, the only difference is the car in the driveway, and but they do sell. There's a seat for every rear end, so there's a fit, or they wouldn't be doing it. But I agree with you. I like some of the characteristics of the older homes. I think a lot of people do. But then you get into affordability. The new home construction, a lot of times builders are often offering incentives that maybe a resale package wouldn't do, whether it's paying closing cost or whatever. So sometimes it's easier to buy new construction.
Are the new construction companies, are they offering financing too? Is it kind of like the car dealerships? I haven't seen it. I haven't bought a new home in Berkeley County, so.
I think the thing with that, they try to make it easy on the consumer, but yes, I mean, there's different schools of thought on that, but yes, a lot of builders do have their own financing or they're affiliated with mortgage companies.
And we have a number of local builders that are doing projects, correct, on the new home side?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Martinsburg, the city, and we've seen kind of a revitalization within downtown, I would say, over the last 18 to 24 months. The new apartment building that's down there, Monument that did. Have you seen those neighborhoods within the city start getting revitalized, revisited, those homes selling pretty easily?
Charlotte, you're a native. I think you could answer that very well.
I do. I think that, it's going to be a slow process,
okay.
And especially in the economic times that we're in right now. But I think you are going to see an improvement of that Porter Avenue, West John Street, West Stevens Street, West King Street area over there. Mm-hmm. And that's just natural. I mean, that's just a natural phenomenon that when somebody comes in and starts improving a neighborhood, that whether they're investors or whether they're just people that want to buy a home to live in, they're going to be drawn to that area and be more, more inclined to improve those properties. To improve the value of them.
Where I see great potential, those old brick townhouses, Raleigh Street, Race Street, that area down in there, that so reminds me of Old Town Alexandria back when I was a kid, back before all the money went in.
Sure.
And there's just so much character in that area.
Every time I drive by those, I just think, sooner or later, that's going to be part of the.
So I'll ask you this as a legislator, because we do get a lot of people saying, why are we investing in parks and recreation and things? How important is it for people buying in an area that they have access to parks and recreation, paths, walking paths, biking trails, those kind of things? In your experience, does that make a difference? And do schools make a difference too?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because they're coming from communities that have those things. Anytime that there's any type of source of recreation where they can take their dog to the dog park, where they can go out and walk and exercise, in community facilities, those are always assets. Schools are people who have children, who have families, they're always looking at what the public schools have to offer. I think in the future that dynamic may change. I think having a variety of educational opportunities in a community are more important now than they were 25 years ago.
Okay.
People are looking for not only public schools, they're looking for private schools, they're looking for homeschool support.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for schools that specialize in different aspects. So I think that they're looking for a variety. I think that's what the secret will be going into the future, is not just public school, but a variety of different educational opportunities.
I think it's more community-based now than what it may have been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When you think back into the inventory of homes that you've sold in the last 5 years, since COVID, the number of, I'm going to guess that there's quite a few who moved here from elsewhere because they can work from home. Mm-hmm. So they don't need to commute anymore. How many is that a significant number of those? And what I'm trying to put together in my head is this a potential problem as people are being called back to the office and the commute might return in terms of
Boy, that's
house
it's
issues?
kind of early to tell.
Yeah.
I really don't know, John.
But was that a significant number of the homes you sold?
Well, it certainly was. And we could go back to 2006 when we had a lot of people moving from Frederick, Maryland to this area. When the gas prices shot up and some of the problems with the economics, they were moving back towards Frederick. Mm-hmm. Now we're experiencing something different because we do have government workers that are going back into the workforce, and some of those are actually, their jobs are being dismantled, so to speak. So we're experiencing something different in the Panhandle that we probably haven't experienced in quite a while.
So let's dive into that just a little more. And I don't want to get political with you guys. I know that obviously there are a lot of homes within the D.C. metro. What do they call it? The area, I guess. Virginia, D.C.
The DMV.
DMV, that's it, right?
That's right.
Those homes are usually about triple the amount you would buy homes out here. So because that inventory has grown, does that affect the Eastern Panhandle at all? Is it too soon to tell? What's your perspective without getting into the just market-wise?
I don't think we have seen a result from that yet. I think it's too early to tell.
Okay.
I think maybe 3 months from now we might have a better answer to that. But right now, I think, it's really too early to tell.
But in your experience between the two of you, when you have a lot of inventory become available, does that drop the price?
Well, I don't know that
for them.
It might stabilize. I don't think it's going to drop. I certainly don't think we're headed to anything that we experienced before.
Right.
But it does, there again, Charlotte remembers back in 03 and 04, the market went up 23% one year, 17 the next, and boy, did it come down. We haven't experienced that lately, so I don't think we're going to have the opposite of that. It will provide some more inventory. Maybe instead of home selling within, a week to 3 weeks, might be a little bit more traditional, 3 to 4 months. And that gives people time to actually make correct decisions.
And there's nothing wrong with 3 to 4 months, right?
Absolutely not. We still do 6-month listing agreements.
Right.
There's a reason for that. Yeah.
And you, as much as you want to sell your house within 3 weeks, sometimes those offers are better, and you get a better close if it's a good offer within a few months and you've done all your inspections and you've done all those things instead of the rush, correct?
Yeah. I think consumers have gotten used to that sell very quickly.
Okay.
And we have to reset that expectation that there's nothing wrong if a house sits for 3 or 4 months. They're so used to seeing an inventory sell in 3 weeks.
They can actually breathe a little bit and make a correct decision.
Right.
They're not so forged into the.
Let's talk a little bit about the Larry DeMarco team. Larry, you've been doing this long enough. I understand you helped Confederate soldiers resettle after the war, right?
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
So when somebody wants to hire the team, obviously they want to go for the marquee name at the very top. But you've also got junior agents who don't have that level of experience. Are they still getting Larry through those agents?
So yeah, you're actually looking at two teams. Charlotte has her team,
right.
and I have mine.
I wasn't going to make the age joke with Charlotte. That's
we're close. But no, actually our entire company is very diverse, and we do have some younger agents, and I always tease them that they haven't been kicked around enough. But they bring so much to the table with their enthusiasm. They're very good at contracts, things of that nature. But typically you'll see somebody like Charlotte, myself, or a more senior agent, because nobody wants to pay for a younger agent that is cutting their teeth on you. And so we do a lot of mentoring. We're with them, and they're the future for the company.
So how much, and I have experience with the Century 21 Modern Realty Results team, and the age discrepancy, if you will, between some of the newer ones and some of the more experienced. How much do those new agents help you with social media and help you with the way millennials think or things like that? Is that where they're helping you understand the world?
There's so much we could talk about here with that. It's night and day. I was at church early this morning, and one of the young ladies there was asking me if I felt that new buyers were more difficult today than they were 20 years ago. They're not really difficult, but they're definitely, things have changed a lot. And I think the newer agents can be more in tune with what a younger buyer needs today.
Okay.
So that's significant for us.
Do you find the younger buyer, and I'm not picking on young folks, please, are they more apt to want things done immediately.
Yeah, 100%. That was
they want the information. They want the instant gratification.
Were you there with me this morning? Because that was the content of this conversation.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and Charlotte remembers this. I hate to keep pointing to her, but we are about the same age group. And when we started out, you bought a trailer and you put it on a rented lot, and you were very happy with it until you could save to get buyers nowadays. I mean, there's so many loan programs. They're able to get a house that we could only dream about because of the loan programs. Our job is to make sure we keep them in check, that they're not over purchasing, because what they qualify for may not necessarily be the right decision on what their lifestyle is. So that's how we kind of.
How much of that are you responsible for, Larry? If you felt that a buyer was overreaching, say they found their dream house, but that house is a little over, would you look them in the eye and say, I don't think?
I do, but I started out the conversation when I meet them. I introduce myself and I explain to them, I'm going to give you my opinion for whatever it's worth. It's up to you and your family to sort it out,
Mm-hmm.
but I will be very opinionated. But I'll sell them whatever they want to buy as long as they understand. The important thing is for them to have the knowledge to work with. Now, a lot of times you'll suggest, bring your parents, bring your aunt, bring somebody that you have trusted for a different opinion. Yeah.
And I know I've worked with you on let's say the seller is saying, I think my house is worth $700,000, but are you look at them and saying, realistically, this is where the market is, this is what you should get. I'll list it for $700,000, but it's only worth $440,000. I mean,
go ahead with that one.
And sometimes you run into that where people have a price in mind that is unrealistic. I always try to work with them. I obviously don't want to lose an opportunity to market a house because you never know.
Right.
So I'll be inclined to say, okay, we'll try it at the price that you want for a limited time frame. If we're not getting any activity, if we don't get any interest, then we need to talk about reducing the price in a certain time frame. And try to set the realistic expectation with them, so that when an appraisal comes in and it's lower or whatever, that we've already had that conversation, that might happen, so that they kind of know what to expect.
and then on the converse of that, expectation, put the house on the market on a Monday. Let's say you get 5 visits. What do you call them?
Showings.
Showings. Thank you. 5 showings in the first week, and they just continue. Is that what you gauge as interest showings, or is it offers that you're looking for?
I think it depends on the price range of the house and the time of year.
Okay.
If you list something in January and we have 3 weeks of snow and ice and cold, you can't expect there to be a whole lot of showings.
Makes sense.
And so I think it's every property is unique. And so, therefore, your expectations are different depending on the property, depending on the time of the year, depending on how much the property is overpriced, that type of thing. I think every property is different.
So do each of you have, you've been here a long time, so are there agents in your Rolodex, old term, or in your list, who will call you and you trust them if they say, hey, Charlotte, or hey, Larry, you need to bring, if you got, this is a great house and this is what it is, you need to bring your guy here, and that you trust more than, say, other agents that would do the same thing, and vice versa?
I mean, boy, John, I'm not sure where you're going with that. But,
well, I would just think that having an agent, there would be this network of, or you put out to others, hey, listen, I got a client who's looking for the pool and the elm tree and
Well, certainly, there's a network. I mean, being in business for a certain amount of time, you've built relationships with other agents, and you're always going to have that. And what we do as agents, we have events to network with other agents, open houses, things of that nature. Today, I used to take pride in thinking that I knew all the agents out there, but I mean, there's a lot of new ones. A lot of people have retired, so we're always busy trying to network with others. I guess to answer your question, yes, we do have a network and we share information. There's many ways to market that home, and the first people we market it to are actually fellow agents, because we don't have all the buyers. So yeah, we do reach out to them.
So with technology these days, I mean, I know when I came to Martinsburg, we were in a very different time. A a buyer or a seller really had to rely on a realtor, right?
Yeah.
To even find a house. With instant gratification and the internet these days, people can find anything online. How important, and I just want to emphasize this to our listeners and our watchers, it is still extremely important to have a realtor and to have somebody you can trust, because this is one of the biggest decisions you will make in your life. Can you explain what a qualified or a realtor would bring to the table in this world?
Could we get another 15 minutes?
We sure can. We'll give you as much time as you want.
Charlotte and I are both very passionate about what we do for a living, and truly it's the value of an agent. Things have changed when we got into this. Every office had a book. The client would have to come to you to look through your book. And there's so much information out there now. Quite often our buyers have the homes they want to see. They have a lot of information with them, public records or whatever. So it comes down to a lot of our job is negotiations, making sure that they're truly making the right move. Let's go back to negotiations. I truly think that's key. Sometimes a buyer will come to me and they think they have all the information and they can do it. We've seen some very costly mistakes and deals that wouldn't close because they don't have the experience. I can tell you just last year alone, I was, part of 200 transactions, so was Charlotte. So there's a lot to be said for experience. While you can sell it on your own, I've seen that happen. Historically speaking, you're going to leave money on the table, or there's going to be some very costly mistakes made. While the art of real estate has changed, and it certainly has, I truly believe that you need boots on the ground. Somebody that's been through it. That term I probably have used it a lot, being kicked around. We've been kicked around so much throughout and I laugh about that because, that is experience. You learn things sometimes the hard way.
Charlotte?
Well, I also think that what the consumer doesn't see is all the things that we do in the background.
Mm-hmm.
We sit at the table or we meet them, on the telephone and discuss the offer. They sign it. They go on about their business. There's so much. We don't go home at that point in time. At that point in time, that offer, there's so much stuff that happens in the background that nobody ever sees that we do. They have no knowledge because we don't say to them when they walk out the door or hang up the phone, now we're going to do this, this, and this. We don't enumerate it to them. We recently had a meeting with an attorney, and they said they were seeing an increase of homes for sale transactions that did not have a realtor. And they're relating that it's a nightmare because there's nobody to coordinate the closing with the lender. There's nobody to coordinate the home inspection with the seller. There's nobody in that transaction to do what we normally do. And she said, we depend so much on the real estate agents to coordinate that transaction, and it's a nightmare when we don't have that.
Not to mention the content of the contract itself.
Yeah. So you're taking your buyers, let's say, to a home. Maybe it's an older home. Over the multiple years that you've been in business and been selling homes, what are some of the things that you may see that somebody that's never bought a home doesn't see?
A lot of times, and I do have a background in contracting from many years ago, but any experienced agent, they look for red flags. Why would I let a client write an offer on a house that I know has red flags such as cracks in foundation, structural issues, mold? I can prevent them from spending money, or at least acknowledge what they're writing a contract on prior to the inspections. I think that's key right there.
So, and you would point that out to a client of yours if you saw anything like that, correct?
Yeah,
it's not about the commission. It's about the relationship for the next 20 years.
It certainly is. Money always follows. If you do your job, they're going to buy. It's money in the bank. Every time I look at a client, they don't have to buy anything today, tomorrow, or next month. I know if I do my job, they'll stick with me. And referral business is key. You've got to have integrity in this business. It's key to everything. And they do rely on us because we have done it, and there's no excuse for not being the agent that you should be. Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of difference between an agent that has been in the business for a long time or somebody like Larry who has building construction experience. My husband was a home builder. I certainly have experience on the job site. But I also think that buyers have to take into consideration the age of the home that they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we walk into homes that are 50 years old, they're going to have, again, they're going to have nuances that
The
new
creaks
homes
on the
don't
stairs.
have. That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah. You're going to have the settling cracks. You're going to have the uneven floors. You're going to have, maybe remodeling things that have been done, or that 1970s rec room that's in the basement that we all are, enjoyed when we were growing up, that is paneling and things like that. The asbestos issues that are going to be in maybe homes like that, that we won't have in homes that are built in more modern times. So I think also the importance of knowing those nuances, knowing that a home that might have asbestos in it, that it might have lead-based paint in it, that type of thing, that is important to consumers. But it's also setting that expectation of what that consumer is going to get for that
And even if it might have lead-based paint, or it might have, old asbestos pipes that have been covered up or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean this home is not buyable.
That's correct. That's correct.
Have you seen, are we still seeing a lot of these older homes being updated and upgraded to where they have an HVAC unit as opposed to an oil or water furnace or whatever you call it? Are we still seeing that within the Eastern Panhandle?
Yes. Yeah.
And are those local companies that are doing that, in your opinion, or local people, or is it folks from out of state that
I'd
are
say
doing
typically most of them are local.
Local, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're using local contractors and, to upgrade the houses. Absolutely.
And honestly, that's what I love about the local people that are putting into these homes. They are using local businesses. The money is not going back across the mountain, so to speak.
Well, and let's talk about that, because we have seen a shift in the national landscape of realty. There are some national companies that are just internet-based, whether it's lending or whether it's for selling homes. Your thoughts on where that's going, or do you think we're still in a very niche market here in Eastern Panhandle?
I think there's room for everybody, but honestly, if you go to a local lender, there's a good chance you're going to see that guy on the ball field with his kids. You're going to see him in Walmart. I mean, there's accountability, there's responsibility to do a good job, but also there is accountability for your actions. You can't hide behind an 800 number, so to speak. And I do see performances probably better sticking local. Now, that's not to say that there aren't good lenders, there aren't good businesses outside of the area, but locally we have some very good closing attorneys. We have good agents, good contractors. Why wouldn't you want to keep the money in the community?
And good local sponsors of local ball teams and
right.
schools and all the other stuff we're asked to do, correct?
Everything you look at. That's right.
Last question to you, John, and then we'll wrap this up. We got about 4 minutes.
I'm just I've been here, 2-3 years now in Eastern Panhandle, and the growth that I'm seeing is, I find, stunning. And I'm also sort of amazed by the fact that so much of the growth is in projects that were approved 20 years ago.
Right.
In these housing developments. So it's like somebody opened a spigot in the time machine, and now all of a sudden all of this growth is happening against a backdrop of other problems within the area that are outside the scope of this interview. But it's interesting times.
Definitely not happy about it. We don't have the infrastructure, but that's beyond my pay grade.
Right, exactly,
for sure.
exactly.
Blame me on that, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
And I also think that residents and consumers need to understand that it is buyers that are driving that market. Yep. It's not, we as real estate agents, it's not like we're standing out in Washington, D.C. on the street corner begging people to come to West Virginia.
Have you tried that?
That's not a bad idea.
No. But, it's because of the buyer demand that we have all of those new houses. It's not, that is what drives the market. It's buyer demand drives the market.
And I can only complain so much because I'm part of the problem.
Yes.
As a guy that moved in 3 years ago. So.
But we shall take your millions from your books, and you shall spend it amongst us. We like you. With that being said, thank you for listening. We're Talk Radio WRNR. You're watching on TV 10. We're down at the home show. It's a beautiful day. We're going to take a 4-minute break, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
After a car accident, what do you get when you call Mansion Ferretti?
You get more experience from a local law firm with over 115 years of combined service.
More respect from a team who treats clients like their own family.
And more fight, because we want you to get every dollar you deserve.
Experience, respect, results. If you've been injured, that's what you want in your lawyer.
And that's what you'll get when you call us. Car accident? Get more with Mansion Ferretti. 304-264-8505.
Let's talk about what to do after a car or truck accident.
First, call 911. Then call Skinner Accident and Injury Lawyers.
Let us handle the insurance company so you can focus on getting better.
Being injured in a wreck is enough stress. Let your doctor handle your medical issues.
And let the Skinner brothers handle your insurance issues.
If you've been hurt in almost heaven,
call the Sevens. 304-777-7777.
Most insurance companies see you as a claim number. Most law firms see you as a case file. When their top priority is their bottom line, you only get a fraction of the attention that you deserve. At the law firm of Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, it's personal. We listen to our clients to see the whole picture, because every part of you is important. For a team built on relationships and results, call Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson at 304-LAWYERS, or visit us at burkeandschultz.com.
Do you have someone in a nursing home, or are you worried about somebody you love going into a nursing home? The law firm of Daniel Staggers can protect your assets. Call the law firm of Daniel Staggers today at 304-267-3915. The Daniel Staggers Law Firm does elder care law, estate planning, and special needs trusts for disabled children and family members. Visit the Daniel Staggers Law Firm for your initial free consultation at 133 East John Street in Martinsburg. The Daniel Staggers Law Firm, when you need asset protection for you or for a family member.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
W. Harley Miller Systems understands the need and desire for reliable and affordable smart home solutions. Secure your home with a security system and keep a close eye on your family. Automate your home with a Control4 system and have smart technology work as one. Set daily schedules to control your thermostats. Push a button and set the mood for dinner by dimming lights and playing music, or just sit back and enjoy a movie in your own home theater. Put decades of experience to work for you. Visit us at WHMsystems.com or call 304-350-1931.
When will I be able to retire? How do I make the most of the money I have? How do I leave a lasting legacy to my loved ones? I'm Philip McCoy, financial advisor with the Mirius Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. Call us today at 304-263-4343 to help you make the most of your financial future. Our office is located at 1270 Winchester Avenue, Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. At the Berkeley County Health Department, our motto is Prevent, Promote, Protect. Since 1935, our mission has been to provide clinical and environmental services to protect the health of the general public. We're committed to building public health in our community by offering a wide range of services, including blood pressure screening, breast and cervical screening, family planning, counseling, lab testing, and more. We perform health inspections to make sure the restaurants you visit are clean, and we prepare and coordinate plans to respond to all hazards. The Berkeley County Health Department, 122 Waverly Court, Martinsburg.
There's the train.
There we go.
Welcome back to the 28th Annual Home Show down at the Roundhouse in downtown Martinsburg. I am joined by John Gilstrap, New York Times best-selling author.
Good morning.
How are you, sir? Good morning. Enjoying yourself so
10:57
far?
is coming through.
I think it is the 10, exactly. The 11 o'clock is passing through. Looks like a coal train or something like that. We are joined this morning by Steve Hedges from Brown Funeral Home. Brown Funeral Homes has been around since 1880, one of the oldest ongoing family businesses within the Eastern Panhandle and certainly within the area.
Yeah.
How important is that, Steve? And I'm just going to, we kind of talked about that the last segment. You weren't privy to that, but how important is it being a family-owned business and extending that reputation out for so many generations?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I think that it's very important, number one, being established for as long as we have and being able to serve so many families in our community. As a family-owned business, we can empathize and make decisions that can benefit the family more so than maybe a corporate-owned business. Okay? And so we meet with families daily. They comment on how they feel comfortable with us. And we have some really terrific young funeral directors that are very empathetic and very professional in what they do. They're all younger than me. Imagine that.
Wow. So is that a career that is on the uptick? Is this something that people are looking to get into?
I wish it was, but it really doesn't seem to be.
Right.
We're very fortunate to have some directors that came into us from other parts of the state and who have just attained their director's license in West Virginia. They have to take a West Virginia funeral director's test in addition to the national funeral director's
So,
test.
funny thing, John, I'm on rulemaking review as a legislator, and I got this rules package from the funeral directors, and I couldn't believe how many rules, regulations, and stipulations that you have to go through to get qualified to be that. So I got my learning, if you will, done over the winter.
Right. And so you understand how well our directors in West Virginia are trained, because it's much more stringent than the national funeral directors test. It is, yeah.
Well, what is the basic training level? I mean, there's some level of nursing, I guess. There's cosmetology. There's all kinds of. But is there a school for that? Is there a degree in funeral service? What is it? What's it called?
It's mortuary science.
Mortuary science.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's divided between services and the technical part for embalming. So you have two different licenses. You have to be a licensed embalmer, which is very a critical skill. Absolutely. To be able to provide the service that a family deserves, you always have different grades of professionals. And we pride ourselves in being able to provide the best for our families as far as personal care goes for preparation of a person.
Is there an apprenticeship part of that as well?
There is. There's a required amount of time to be an apprentice for training, on-the-job training, basically, under the supervision of a licensed funeral director.
Can one become a funeral director through an apprenticeship program without going through schooling?
No.
Okay.
No. It's a technical education.
No, to get to the top, you have to go through the schooling part.
Yeah, you do.
Now, I know you do a lot of planning, because that's what we kind of talk. We talk about, families need to plan for a tragic event or something.
The inevitable.
It's just facts, right, John? We're all going to be there. I know you've helped my family out the way you've helped us out. There is a skill to we are coming to you on the worst day of in very bad circumstances. There's a skill to taking that and running with all the logistics of a funeral, logistics of cremation, things like that. In the end, you do have to charge for these things, but how do you balance that, Steve? Where somebody's coming to you and if they want a gold box for the coffin coffin or gold urn, it's going to cost more money than a wooden one.
Yes.
How do you do that at the time?
What you have to do is you have to have a wide variety of options that people can choose from, so that they can make those decisions that's best for them financially and emotionally. So the idea is to have as many options as possible for a family. But that's where pre-planning comes in.
That's the better way to do it.
That's the better way to do it. All those logistics basically are worked out except for the day and time of services. And we help families schedule pastors, cemetery arrangements, everything.
So when somebody comes in and they do a friend of mine just did this actually down in Texas, chose it all. I mean, they got the casket, the whole thing. So in choosing their casket, do you choose the Model 29X from the catalog, and then when the time comes you get that model, or do you actually buy that box and that one sits in a warehouse until you get that one?
No, you pay for it, and it's defined exactly what's been paid for, the name of the casket, the design, the manufacturer, and that's all recorded in your file, okay? So then at the time of need, we only really carry very common materials, so that there's nothing exotic that we're not going to be able to get at least almost exactly what a person pays for. Mm-hmm. And if they pay for it in advance, we're required by law to give them exactly what they paid for.
But it can be 35, 50 years later.
It can be, yeah. And so in West Virginia, we guarantee that cost by law, okay? And so if we're willing to accept advanced business, okay, we're willing to accept that guarantee, but we're able also to put it into a trust account that will earn a small return over time to help
inflation goes.
Help offset inflation, yeah. And the good part about that is the family doesn't, they suffer no loss. And even if the trust account exceeds what the cost is in the future, there's a refund of the excessive monies. Yeah.
So your gold casket with the big mausoleum, we can still do that for you.
Well, half of that is true. I want to have too much information right on television. I am a full body burial kind of guy. I've been burned. I didn't like it, so I'm kind of traditionalist that way. Which now brings if I want to buy a home, I can shop model homes. If I want a burial plot, how does one shop for burial plots? Because there's cemeteries all over.
There are. And so we have access to contact information for most cemeteries. There are a couple of small, remote ones, but we can figure out how to get in contact. So I would give the contact information to a family, a prospective buyer, and they will reach out to the different managers of the cemeteries and make their arrangements through that. And then they will come back to me and say, okay, we bought 2 spaces at Georgetown Presbyterian, and we'll put a copy of their deed in their file. And so... Yeah.
So with that, and I'm serious, but let's say I want to be buried at the radio station. Am I allowed to do that, or do cemeteries have to be like registered cemeteries?
No, you may do that. You can be buried on your own property.
On your own property. Yes. And
you
that's something Brown can help with?
Well, no,
Not
we
really.
don't necessarily do that. We'll arrange for the digging of the grave.
Okay.
But you need to go through the county, I guess it's the planning commission or something like that, to designate a piece of property that has human remains in it. Okay.
Interesting.
And so there may be, if that property would ever be sold in the future, there might have to be a right-of-way, and it's deeded out, and there might be a right-of-way to access so your family can get back. And
so this is done ahead of time. This is not something.
Yeah, this is not something you do
death.
after.
Yeah. Most of the time, you want to. If you're doing something personal like that, you need to have that all squared away. Because
so then, when the family later, a generation later, sells the property, that grave site is not part of the property that is sold. That is
I
a
don't
separate.
Believe so. Okay. That's not my best skill set.
Okay,
it would stay in a trust or something that you set up or something.
Like
I think.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. That is, you can get buried on your own land if you're on the back corner.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
Well, I have very specific requirements. I like gravestones. I don't like the plates.
All right.
See, I'm the other way. I want to get burned in the oven, and I'm quite fine with that. What are my options when it comes to cremation? And I know there's tons of them. Where do you go with cremation? What are my options if I want to plan for cremation?
Well, your very basic option is called a direct cremation.
Okay.
So that's a singular service that we provide with one price that will bring a person into our care, the transportation required, our administrative folks taking care of the appropriate permits that are required, transportation to the crematory, and return the cremated remains to our office on King Street. That is the most basic choice you can make and the most economical.
Okay.
Well, the other end of the spectrum.
When you're talking economical, can you speak to a dollar amount?
Range?
Well, it's around $3,000.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, and then you were saying? Sorry.
Well, the other end of the spectrum is going to be a full traditional funeral service with a casket, a viewing the night before, the funeral service the next day. Then instead of everybody going to the cemetery, everybody goes home.
Okay.
And the cremation takes place. So those services are important to a lot of families. Mm-hmm. And in between, there are memorial services without a casket that we plan for. One-day funeral service with a casket that can save some money because you don't have the use of the funeral home for 2 days.
Right.
And then all transportation to the cemetery or the crematory can be arranged.
So, Steve, I'm kind of a fun guy. I want a fun funeral. Is that?
We put the fun in funerals.
Can that be done? Is that something that somebody could say, hey, I want this to be a celebration, not a.
I can have an open bar in the funeral home?
We kind of shy away from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the beauty of cremation. You can have a celebration like that in any venue you choose.
Right.
And make arrangements for any recreation you choose.
Oh.
And I encourage that. Absolutely.
Do people ever, in your time doing this, do people ever do the front parlor funerals anymore? I mean, in the home, where the viewings in the home?
Very rarely.
But
Very
occasionally?
rarely. It can happen.
Okay.
But, if there's going to be a casket, you're going to have to be able to get it through the door.
Well, there's that.
And so there could be some restrictions, We'll do whatever anybody wants. Absolutely. And that's the beauty of
Does Brown's own any cemeteries?
No.
No. So you are a funeral home,
yes.
And then you work with the cemeteries within our area.
That's exactly right. I have a wonderful book that has a listing of all cemeteries, and we try to keep up with their current cost because a grave space is a different price here and there.
Okay.
The opening of the grave is a different price between cemeteries, and so we try to keep that all skilled, in a source of information that I'm willing to share with anybody. Absolutely.
Before we go, Steve, why don't you look at the camera, tell them how to reach you, best ways to reach Brown's, where the Brown Funeral Homes are, and what you can do for their planning.
Oh, good. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that opportunity. We actually have 3 locations in both Berkeley County and Jefferson County. So we have the main office at 327 West King Street in Martinsburg. That's where my office is located. When we have a chapel in Inwood and a chapel in Ransom. And so phone calls can be made to any of those locations, but if someone wants to plan for pre-arrangements, then it would be through me at the funeral home phone number 304-263-8896. I schedule convenient appointments for everyone, and an appointment normally will take maybe about an hour, depending on how much chit-chat there is, because it can be very fun.
Yeah.
I meet some wonderful families. That's what I love about my job. And so our main administrative offices are on King Street.
And they can refer you out to any of the other offices
sure.
if you need.
Yeah.
BrownFuneralHomes.com, correct?
Well, it's BrownFuneralHomesWV.com. There's a way to communicate with us through email on there. There's a lot of great information on our website. And you can even sign up for subscriptions to daily obituary notices on our website. On each obituary page at the bottom, there's a little button that you can subscribe.
So you'd get emails.
So we send out an email every day about new obituaries that have been published.
That way you don't have to rely on the newspaper. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. You are watching TV 10. You're listening on WRNR 106.5 or 740 AM. We will be right back in 4 minutes.
Brown's Funeral Home and Cremations, Robert Fields & Sons, hope to see you at the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show on March 29th and 30th in the Martinsburg Roundhouse to learn about what they provide whenever a loved one has passed away. Their booth number is FS53, which is located just outside the silent auction. Brown's Funeral Home and Cremations is the trusted name in funeral services in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown Ranson. They're proudly serving the area since 1880 and are proud to be a part of the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show. Join us for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show March 29th and 30th at the Roundhouse in downtown Martinsburg, with over 120 exhibits and food trucks on the grounds. Diamond sponsor Pine Creek Structures is once again giving away an outdoor patio set that you can enter to win. This year's silent auction sponsor is the Sean Craig team at ERA Liberty Realty. The 2025 Home Show is the place to see home builders, remodelers, banks and lenders, landscaping companies, heating and air conditioning contractors, and more. Platinum level sponsors include Aspen Home Improvements, City National Bank, and Eastern Panhandle Heating and Cooling. Admission is always free, so stop by the Roundhouse and get information on your next home projects March 29th and 30th. Gold sponsors include Century 21 Modern Realty Results, the Hornby Media Group, Jefferson Rentals, Made in the Shade, and Negley's Water. Silver sponsors include CNB Bank and Nicely Done Pools. Visit ephomeshow.com.
Providing reliable protection since 1877, we are Farmers and Mechanic Insurance Companies. For over a century, we have been dedicated to provide dependable insurance protection and excellent customer service. We specialize in auto, home, farm, and business insurance. Our products are backed with personal, hands-on service. You can trust us to protect what matters most to you. For all of your insurance needs, there's Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies.
Palace Lounge in Martinsburg is the place to be. Join us every night to relax and enjoy football or basketball games featuring either the Martinsburg Bulldogs, Shepherd University Rams, or West Virginia Mountaineers. We will have steak night every Wednesday, trip nights every Thursday, and now taco and margarita nights every Tuesday. You can find us on Facebook or call 304-267-7520. The Palace Lounge is located at 1350 Edwin Miller Boulevard in Martinsburg. Do you need a place to go that's quick and convenient without the worry of it being overpriced? Well, then you're in luck, because Enter and Exit has convenience without the cost. Enter and Exit, located right off Route 11, is located at 31 Meadow Lane in Martinsburg, as well as 768 South Main Street in Chambersburg. Both Enter and Exit locations are open every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. For some great convenience without the cost, stop on into Enter and Exit today. Mark Hughes Plumbing and HVAC is here to solve your plumbing and heating problems while meeting your renovation needs. Now serving Berkeley, Jefferson, Hampshire, and Mineral counties. We're a family-owned and operated company that's fully licensed and insured. We can do kitchen and bathroom upgrades and remodels, plumbing, HVAC and light excavation, well pumps, water heaters, and drain clearing. Call 304-620-8013. Mark's Hughes Plumbing and HVAC. We look forward to working with you. The Larry DeMarco team at Century 21 Modern Realty Results is proud to be a gold-level sponsor for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show. If you're looking for a home in the tri-state, then come and visit us at our booth, which spans from number 35 to 36 inside the Martinsburg Roundhouse, just to the left of the west entrance. This year's home show will take place on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. We hope to see you at the Roundhouse for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show.
And welcome back to the 28th Annual Home Show down at the Roundhouse. It is Sunday. It is beautiful out. The crowd is starting to pour in. I think church is just letting out, so we should see a number of people. Get on down here to the home show. Check out all the different booths. We got food vendors, we got realtors, we got AC, we've got leaf filter, glass service, roof service, anything you need for your home. Somebody in this building will have an answer to you. I'm joined by John Gilstrap. And with us this section, as we lead into spring and summer, who wouldn't like to have a nicely done pool? Rick, nice to meet you. How's the show going for you?
Good. Nice meeting you.
We heard from Kevin Knowles it was a record-breaking crowd yesterday. Did you feel record-breaking?
We did. This is our third year doing the show, and we exceeded our leads over the past 2 years, so a big pickup for us.
Now, leads for you are somebody writing down their name, phone number, and email so that you can contact them back?
Yes, and we also provide a quote and do a site visit along with that lead.
So when are we doing above-ground pools, in-ground pools, fiberglass pools? What does nicely done pools take care of?
Yeah, we offer the Latham fiberglass in-ground pools only.
Okay.
Yep. We have over 30 years experience doing it, and we're newer to this area. We've been in this market for 3 years now.
Now, when I think of a fiberglass pool, I think of, back in the day, a rectangle with 3 steps, and that's it. What are my options these days?
All right. Nowadays, we have 92 different sizes and shapes for you. We have everything from rectangular, which is still the leading sell due to automatic covers.
Yeah.
But also we have basically designed off the Olympia 3 rings.
Okay.
So we have those curvatures. We have also almost like a triangle L shapes.
Oh, wow.
We also offer.
And how deep can a fiberglass pool be these days? Can you go 8 foot still?
Yeah. The only restriction we have, and it's due to DOT regulations, is 16 wide. But we can go 16 by 42, 8 foot deep, 3'6" on the shallow end.
So you said DOT because obviously you have to transport them, right?
Yes.
And they're coming from a factory where?
They're actually made in Jane Lou, West Virginia. So
in
this
Jane
is a
Lou,
West Virginia product.
Well, how about that? I drive through Jane Lou every single week going down to Charleston, so I might have to stop down there and get a site visit.
Yeah.
So they're brought up, they're ordered from you. Somebody walk into your showroom.
Yep.
They decide you go and do the site visit. And I'm not going to put you on the spot. Give me a ballpark of a normal rectangular pool in a flat terrain that's not overly complicated. What's a pool run these days?
Yeah, basically a starting point would be around 60,000. Within the ground and completed.
60, correct?
Yeah. 60,000 to jump in and go swimming, and we can range up to 120. With the larger pools, and it really depends how options you want to go. Sliding boards, auto covers. A lot of homeowners in this area with larger yards we're finding wanting a larger decking.
Mm-hmm.
So, they can have their get-togethers and have more sunbathing area.
Okay.
So,
John?
So, I live in an area that is all that karst, rocky, outcropping kind of place. Is that an area where you can install your product?
Yeah, we still do. We have a contract with United Rentals if we need to get a jackhammer for our own excavator. We do that, but we also have a rock clause built into our contract, so we're up front on that saying if we hit. But the good news with Nicely Done, we have a very large 320 excavator. So we can remove boulders 6 foot by 6 foot.
Oh,
so
my.
as long as we don't hit a seam of rock, that's where we almost have to turn to a jackhammer, and we don't really mark that up. We kind of take that price and hand it right over and say, please play direct.
So what sits between Mother Nature and the bottom of your fiberglass pool? What's in that space?
Yeah. So all that's engineered spec by Latham, the manufacturer. They break down the hole every 2 foot for us, and we use a number 8 gravel. And a key component in this area, with a lot of rain in the winters and thaws, you have to do a sump line to keep the existing water outside the shell once it's installed away from the unit. So we have number 8 gravel that's brought up, and when you're backfilling, you always want to keep your gravel and your water within 6 inches of each other so the pool does not come out of level.
So let's just explain that to the viewers and listeners in second grade terms so I understand, because I know you probably understood it automatically. the sump line would sit pulling the water out of the gravel and pumping it so water doesn't get underneath your pool and raise the whole thing up.
Yeah, it's an old theory that existed back in the 80s, and engineering has kind of solved that issue.
Okay.
Not only here, but throughout all of the United States.
And where does that water go once pumped out?
A couple different, it really depends on the terrain. That's why we want to do a site visit. If you have a pitch to the yard, we can daylight a drain. If not, we're typically almost tying it into the septic if needed.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can tie it right into the septic
it just depends
system.
if you have a septic tank or city septic. There's a lot of things that we have to consider.
And that site visit, you're going out, if you were to go to John's expansive property to find wherever he wanted his pool, do you have an idea if it would be rocky? I mean, obviously, if there's rocks sticking out of the ground, you know that, but...
Yeah, you can kind of tell by looking around the neighborhood.
Right.
And what's nice about this area, a lot of homes have a basement.
Okay.
So if we're the builder of the home or have some history on the home, you can almost judge it off that. If not the landscape, but there's no true 100% way for us to tell until we dig. Now, we do have...
It was the 1,500 pounds of high explosives that dug my basement. Is the good,
so you know, yeah,
the good indicator.
But I think what he said there was kind of key, John, is if a developer's put in, let's say, 60 houses in a development, the groundwork that they've done to put those houses in is probably pretty extensive.
Yes.
So it would help with you coming in later and putting a pool in because you know that they've kind of removed most of that.
Yeah, and there's a couple new home builds around here that we work with those builders and already have that knowledge of what we could be facing.
Are you able to work there's a very nice development going in on Tuscarora Pike that's by Panhandle Homes. I think the first two are already built, but let's say I'm building one of those homes. Could I say, hey, can we get the pool in while they're building, and you would work with the builder, or is that
we
okay?
do that quite a bit, and it's actually the good time to do it because if you existing home, I'm running an excavator on their new lawn or something, where there's already construction going on. We usually typically wait there's at least temporary service so the water don't get stagnant.
That makes sense.
So as long as I have a temporary service, then yes, we put the pools in at that time.
Now, will you do the landscaping and water features and hot tubs and all of that for the kind of spa look around the pool area?
Yeah, now what we do is a lot of our hot tubs in the fiberglass world is more of an accent. Mm-hmm. They come with 8 jets, so it's more for the high-end jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the above grounds that we can sell and provide to the public. Landscaping, we do third-party that out. We do not do that in-house.
Who do you use for your landscaping, Rick? Do you have multiple?
We have multiples, and I give the homeowner 3 different names and let them choose.
And let them figure it out?
Yeah.
But if people reach out to Nicely Done Pools, you sit down and get a whole plan of what the finished product is going to look like, including the landscaping and the...
Yes, typically upon the site visit, first step we'll lay it out with some orange flags and say, here, can you visualize it? Then some homeowners can, some can't. The ones that can't, we can go back and do a 3D rendering drawing with your house after I take pictures.
Wow. And
we email that to you and say, here's kind of our concept, and make sure they agree.
So, Rick, obviously you're a locally owned business.
Yes.
Obviously, Nicely Done Pools, Rick Nicely.
With a K.
K with a K.
Yeah.
What made you get into the pool business, and what made you choose the Eastern Panhandle as the place you want to do business in?
So straight out of college, I was actually a certified chef.
Okay.
Yeah, and dietitian background. They started building the pools in Jane Lou, West Virginia back in 2000. I stopped into there to buy one.
Okay.
Long story short, speed up, I become director of fiberglass for Latham Pools and ran all their plants. So I have a passion for pools.
So you've actually seen how they're built. You've been part of that process. You worked for the manufacturer, and now you decided to actually sell them and start your own business. That's a fantastic story.
Yep, it's kind of our retirement plan, and so we keep growing, and eventually we'll move our home over this way and keep the business going.
How many employees do you have? And how many projects do you do a year?
All right, so right now over just in this area, because we also do locations back towards Jane Lou, Morgantown area.
Okay.
In this area right here, we did 28 units last year.
Okay, so that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And how many projects back in Morgantown?
We did about 15 there.
Okay.
So right now we're still keeping it a little smaller until we're ready to grow. Okay. We want to maintain our happy customers.
Yeah. No.
So I spent a career as a safety engineer, which means everything is going to go wrong at the worst possible time, right?
Yep.
So We've drained this pool to do something, and I'm going to drop something really heavy and put a hole in the fiberglass of this thing. How easy is it to fix?
First off, never drain your pool on ours. If your pool ever has to drain, you call us. We come take care of it as professionals.
Fair enough.
We will brace it to make sure everything's good. Then with fiberglass, it's actually the exact same core material that Corvettes and the airplanes are made out of. Latham works close with NASA and all of those, Thermwood and all that. So it's easily repairable. Now, if the pool's 20, 30 years old, that repair might be a little bit darker or brighter than the rest of the pool.
But it'll be underwater.
But it'll be underwater, but yes, anything's repairable in fiberglass. But they have a lifetime guarantee. If I do my job and you as a homeowner maintain your chemicals, there's really nothing that should happen, but that lifetime guarantee is there to protect you from that.
Rick, we got to leave you, but why don't you tell our audience how to get a hold of you and what services you provide.
All right. Once again, we're Nicely Done Pools. You can reach us at 304-816-6570 or go to nicelypools.com. We'll reach out to you, and we're huge on customer satisfaction.
Locally owned, locally operated pools made right here in West Virginia. What a cool story. You're listening to Talk Radio WRNR. You're watching us on TV 10. We'll be right back in 4 minutes.
Did you know a fully loaded truck weighs 80,000 pounds?
I do know that they can cause a lot of damage in a wreck.
Over 40,000 people die every year in crashes.
And distracted driving is getting even worse.
I wish we had better ways to prevent distracted driving.
Me too. But one thing we can do is help people who've been injured in car and truck accidents.
Hurting almost heaven? Dial the 7s. 304-777-7777.
SkinnerWins.com.
You have choices when it comes to appliance repair, but before you call a large corporate chain, consider what BW Appliance brings to the table. BW Appliance Repair offers fast in-home appliance repair services to the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, including Jefferson County and Berkeley County. We strive for professionalism, dedication, and honesty. Call us today at 304-279-8858 to schedule immediate service. You can also visit us online at bwappliance.repair.
Life is evolving. Over the past decade, the way we do almost everything has changed. Get on your phone, see something you like, click on it, and it shows up at your door. Why should the way you have your car serviced be any different? Why waste your time going to a dealership service department when Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet will come to you? They service all makes, all models, and offer full parts and labor warranties. Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet will come to your door or office and service your vehicle while you're doing what you need to be doing, conducting that business meeting or mowing the lawn. Why take time out of your busy schedule when you don't have to? Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet's friendly, knowledgeable staff will come to you where you live or where you work for full service maintenance, from oil changes to tire rotations, brakes, batteries, multi-point inspections. They handle it all. Hagerstown Ford and Hancock Chevrolet is committed to delivering the best of the best to their customers. Trust them to service your vehicle where you're at home or at work. Skip the time-consuming and terminal wait at the dealership. Schedule your appointment at FordofHagerstown.com or HancockChevy.com.
After a car accident, what do you get when you call Mansion Ferretti?
You get more experience from a local law firm with over 115 years of combined service.
More respect from a team who treats clients like their own family.
And more fight, because we want you to get every dollar you deserve.
Experience, respect, results. If you've been injured, that's what you want in your lawyer.
And that's what you'll get when you call us. Car accident? Get more with Mansion Ferretti. 304-264-8505.
March is National Endometriosis Awareness Month. The gynecologic experts at WVU Medicine Berkeley and Jefferson Medical Centers encourage women to become familiar with the symptoms of endometriosis and speak with a gynecologist regarding any concerns and about treatment that can improve and in some cases completely eliminate symptoms. Endometriosis affects roughly 1 out of 10 women of childbearing age. For more information or to schedule an appointment with a WVU Medicine gynecologist in Martinsburg or Branson, call 304-596-2149.
At Carter Myers Automotive, what we do today will tomorrow become what we've done. That's why Owners Just Do More no longer defines us. Our work is never done because what we live by doesn't have a finish line. We care. Our company of owners is moving lives forward every day. by finding more ways to care before, during, and after your purchase. Because when you're happy, so are we. Carter Myers Automotive. Proud to be the owners who just care more.
Most insurance companies see you as a claim number. Most law firms see you as a case file. When their top priority is their bottom line, you only get a fraction of the attention that you deserve. At the law firm of Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, it's personal. We listen to our clients to see the whole picture, because every part of you is important. For a team built on relationships and results, call Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson at 304 Lawyers, or visit us at burkeandschultz.com.
Welcome back to the 28th Annual Home Show down at the Roundhouse in beautiful downtown Martinsburg. Joined by John Gilstrap again, and we are joined this segment by Tony Barrett from Made in the Shade.
Thanks,
I've got to give your owner some thing. He was too afraid to come on with us. Jason, next time, please come on with us.
That's right.
How long has Made in the Shade been working in the Eastern Panhandle?
Will be 20 years this year.
20 years.
Both Jason and I are born and raised, graduated Martinsburg High School from the area, and we both, we've been at it for a long time now.
Is this what Jason started when he came out of college?
Yes.
Was his degree in landscaping? Is that a thing, or was his degree in business?
In agriculture. Actually.
In agriculture.
We were both agriculture majors, big in the FFA when we were in high school. So we've been kind of in the plant industry. We both attended James Rumsey as well. Their horticulture program.
So you were in horticulture right from the beginning.
Yes.
You went to WVU, is that correct? Or which
Potomac
college?
State.
Potomac State, okay.
Yes.
And you got a degree in agriculture. What does that entail? I know we want to talk about your business, but what does that entail, a degree in agriculture?
More so on the animal and plant production side of food-based agriculture. But we had a lot of time in the greenhouse and plant production side of things. So we kind of covers the whole thing, but we were predominantly plant-based.
And then when you came out of that, you decided to do a landscaping, and landscaping's come a long way from a mower on the back of a trailer
for sure
to what you can offer. What are some of the services that Made in the Shade is offering at this point?
Everything from turf management for the lawn, landscape design, pest and insect problems, things like that. We cover basically the whole gamut, anything that you would find outside or have a need for.
So pest and insect problems, how do you do that with landscaping?
You'll have a lot of it's spray, things like that, just trying to keeping the beneficial pests using like integrated pest management, where you don't want to get rid of everything in an area, but trying to keep the ones
keeping hornbees off the invite list. Just,
that's right.
But yes, there's not a lot of that. More tree and shrub care as far as insect and disease is concerned.
When somebody comes to you and wants to design their yard, I'm presuming you can do something small as, hey, they'll do the weekly mowing and shrubbery or weedery to a whole brand new design of a yard. Is that correct?
Yes, we cover all of that.
And then what are let's look at what are some of the more extravagant projects you've been involved with within the Eastern Panhandle?
We've done some large hardscaping projects, outdoor kitchens, things of that nature, pool surrounds. We're not big in the hardscaping business now. We're mostly maintenance, a lot of which is mowing, remulching.
And hardscaping means the pavers and things like that?
Correct, yeah, concrete pavers.
Concrete pavers, okay. John?
See, I'm in a position relatively new into the house that I bought. So we built it, which means 3 years ago, it was a house in the middle of a construction site with a lot of dirt. So then you go through that initial thing of planting the stuff, half of which dies because the dirt's bad. So now we're to the stage where things is starting to look nice, but now I want to take the next step, and I don't have the vocabulary I'm not even sure what I want. I'll know it if I see it, but I don't know how to describe what I want to see. And this is this kind of thing I'm going to guess that you deal with all the time.
We do.
Show me what I want, right?
Right.
And in my head is kind of one of these Williamsburg-y kind of gardens in the back. I don't like a lot of hardscape, right? Maybe a path, but bushes and stuff. I just don't know what grows and what won't grow and all that. Is that what you do, or is that a landscape architect?
Yes, we cover that. A lot of that, in a lot of cases, is a matter of starting with a soil test. So you know where your soil stands, what amendments you need there. For example, if someone likes rhododendron or azalea, they require a more acidic soil. So you can amend for that purpose. Looking at how much sunlight an area will get. For instance, the north side of a home is always the shady side. So planting based on that. That and just mixing something so you have something in bloom all parts of the year, minus the winter, of course. So usually you'll mix some evergreens and just kind of mixing it up, different textures, different size plantings, and kind of catering it to the use of the area, I guess.
So could I come to you and say, hey, I've got $15,000. What can you do for me? And then John can come to you and go, hey, I got $150,000. What can you do for me? Is that feasible, or is that not really?
Definitely, no. We're willing to work with any budget.
Okay.
And kind of base the project on that. Yeah.
And how far out are you taking jobs, or are you looking for more of the mowings? What's the purpose of being here at the home show?
To keep our name out there for sure. We do have several mowing crews running full time, as well as landscape crews. Right now we're booking into late April and starting to get into the summer. We have a lot of return customers, so we tend to book up pretty quickly in the springtime. But yeah, we will gladly. There's not much we turn down in terms of work.
Is there any hope of planting anything that will grow more than 3 days before a deer eats it?
Deer resistance is kind of relative. There are definitely things. Any plant with thorns typically does okay, but through winters and depending on the amount of snowfall we have and the amount of forage that's available to them, they will eat pretty much whatever they can get to.
Yeah.
There are some sprays you can apply as well, which are usually plant-based, garlic, peppermint, things like that will keep them off to some extent.
30-out special.
Yes, that works as well, yes.
I mean, out where you are in the country, nobody's going to be complaining about that.
But yeah, we run into that a lot in this area. We've got a few calls this spring just because of the snowfall we've had this season, and the arborvitaes, the kind of conical shaped evergreens you'll see commonly. They'll usually up to about the 4-foot point will be pretty chewed up. The tops will still look wonderful, but the rest, well, not so much.
I'm privy to one of my neighbors and friends had a water feature done by Made in the Shade.
Okay.
Is that something that you do often, or is that something you only did for my neighbor?
No, we still do a few. Some things tend to move kind of in fads or in cycles there. Every few years, it seems, we'll get kind of an influx of things like that. But I love doing the water features myself.
Like a fish pond, koi pond,
koi
things
ponds,
like that.
Outdoor fountains, things of that nature. Yeah, we have, I think I probably have almost 50 customers that we do a yearly cleaning on the ponds. And,
okay.
And go in the spring, clean everything up, and have them ready for the season.
Now, I'm into ponds. I got a nice koi pond. I love it. What is the realistic lifespan before we have to dig it up and maybe reline it or do something like that? With our winter and the 4 seasons we have and filling of leaves, and like you said, it really does need maintenance. What's the lifespan of a pond where you have to redo it? Is that a set number?
Not really. Typically the liner you use is a 30 mil rubber. It's a pretty thick product. As long as that is in the water and not out in direct sun. I've started, I guess I have about 25 years in the business totally. There's ponds that I built early in my career that are still holding up well.
Fantastic.
I've never had any issue with liners other than maybe a hole from a deer stepping in to drink or something like that is about the only issues that we see.
What about the lily pads or water plants roots going through the liner? Is that something that happens?
No. Typically they're any plants, especially in water, they'll just kind of move in the path of least resistance there.
Okay.
So typically they'll just hit the bottom and kind of spread out.
Your koi pond's not a mosquito factory in the summertime?
Not if you have koi in them.
No? Oh, okay, right. That's why you have the koi,
Right.
I guess, right?
Okay. Between koi, and as long as the water's moving and not stagnant, typically there's no issue there. But,
I think stagnant water is where mosquitoes arrive, and then if it's stagnant, you got to put some chlorine in it. That takes care of them too.
Yeah.
And a koi can live upwards of 50 years, so they there's not much replacing fish.
Unfortunately, my heater went down in the middle of that cold spell, so we had frozen fish this year.
Yeah.
So
Tasty?
I got to start again. What else do you want to tell our audience before we let you go?
We're a general contractor along with landscaping. So while we don't handle everything, we do have contractors, masons, carpenters, things like that, decking. We can also handle and oversee larger projects.
Best way to get in touch with Made in the Shade?
You can find us on Facebook. We have a website as well, or give us a call. And we prefer meeting and talking over and looking at things. And we'd likely come out and take care of it.
How has the home show been for you this session?
It's been good. We had a lot of traffic yesterday. It always does well for us. This is our, I think, 17th year at the home show. We were in it when it was at the Martinsburg Mall, for those that remember that. But no, it always does well, and getting to see the people year to year.
So compare this one, because we have been doing the home show about the same time. Compare these home shows compared to the Martinsburg Mall. Obviously, the mall's not here, so it's not an option, but compare the difference.
I think here at the mall, there was a mix of people there at shopping. I mean, just doing the
trick or treat,
the regular mall things. Yeah. Yes, but here that seems to be more potential customers, more people that are interested in having work done, as opposed to just kind of perusing around there, I guess. But.
Tony, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're listening to WRNR AM 740, 106.5 FM. And, of course, watch it on TV 10 and on our YouTube page. Thank you very much. We will come back for one last segment. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back.
Do you have someone in a nursing home, or are you worried about somebody you love going into a nursing home? The law firm of Daniel Staggers can protect your assets. Call the law firm of Daniel Staggers today at 304-267-3915. The Daniel Staggers Law Firm does elder care law, estate planning, and special needs trusts for disabled children and family members. Visit the Daniel Staggers Law Firm for your initial free consultation at 133 East John Street in Martinsburg. The Daniel Staggers Law Firm, when you need asset protection for you or for a family member.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
W. Harley Miller Systems understands the need and desire for reliable and affordable smart home solutions. Secure your home with a security system and keep a close eye on your family. Automate your home with a Control4 system and have smart technology work as one. Set daily schedules to control your thermostats. Push a button and set the mood for dinner by dimming lights and playing music, or just sit back and enjoy a movie in your own home theater. Put decades of experience to work for you. Visit us at WHMsystems.com or call 304-350-1931.
When will I be able to retire? How do I make the most of the money I have? How do I leave a lasting legacy to my loved ones? I'm Philip McCoy, financial advisor with the Mirius Group, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated. Call us today at 304-263-4343 to help you make the most of your financial future. Our office is located at 1270 Winchester Avenue, Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Ameriprise Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer deaths in the United States each year. But do you know the radon levels in your home? Home is a place to live, love, and laugh, not a place to breathe air containing radon. The Berkeley and Morgan County Health Departments are distributing free confidential radon test kits, and you can get yours at the Berkeley County Health Department office in Martinsburg and the Morgan County Health Department office in Berkeley Springs. Protect your home and family. Get your free radon test kit today.
Providing reliable protection since 1877, we are Farmers and Mechanic Insurance Companies. For over a century, we have been dedicated to provide dependable insurance protection and excellent customer service. We specialize in auto, home, farm, and business insurance. Our products are backed with personal, hands-on service. You can trust us to protect what matters most to you. For all of your insurance needs, there's Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies.
Palace Lounge in Martinsburg is the place to be. Join us every night to relax and enjoy football or basketball games featuring either the Martinsburg Bulldogs, Shepherd University Rams, or West Virginia Mountaineers. We will have steak night every Wednesday, trip nights every Thursday, and now taco and margarita nights every Tuesday. You can find us on Facebook or call 304-267-7520. The Palace Lounge is located at 1350 Edwin Miller Boulevard in Martinsburg. Do you need a place to go that's quick and convenient without the worry of it being overpriced? Well, then you're in luck, because Enter and Exit has convenience without the cost. Enter and Exit, located right off Route 11, is located at 31 Meadow Lane in Martinsburg, as well as 768 South Main Street in Chambersburg. Both Enter and Exit locations are open every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and on Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. For some great convenience without the cost, stop on into Enter and Exit today. Join us for the 28th Annual Eastern Panhandle Home Show March 29th and 30th at the Roundhouse in downtown Martinsburg, with over 120 exhibits and food trucks on the grounds. Diamond sponsor Pine Creek Structures is once again giving away an outdoor patio set that you can enter to win. This year's silent auction sponsor is the Sean Craig team at ERA Liberty Realty. The 2025 Home Show is the place to see home builders, remodelers, banks and lenders, landscaping companies, heating and air conditioning contractors, and more. Platinum level sponsors include Aspen Home Improvements, City National Bank, and Eastern Panhandle Heating and Cooling. Admission is always free, so stop by the Roundhouse and get information on your next home projects March 29th and 30th. Gold sponsors include Century 21 Modern Realty Results, the Hornby Media Group, Jefferson Rentals, Made in the Shade, and Negley's Water. Silver sponsors include CNB Bank and Nicely Done Pools. Visit ephomeshow.com.
5. Welcome back to the 28th Annual Home Show in the beautiful downtown Martinsburg Roundhouse. Joined by John Gilstrap. John, thank you for doing all weekend. Really appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Our last segment today, we haven't heard from a bank all weekend, so we have City National Bank with us. While they say national, City is definitely a community bank. We're joined by Brandy Seeby, who's the branch manager at Inwood, correct?
And you brought sample money. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Not all bankers will do that. So.
Right. We have bags full of cash over there.
Let's talk about bags full of cash, because City obviously has a very good mortgage program that you guys offer. You have a mortgage division of City National Bank. You have a number of local banks in our communities in the Eastern Panhandle. How has the home show been, and what is the product that you're offering at the home show?
Okay, well, we have a lot of great products going on. Our Champion Mortgage is the best, I feel, in the area. We'll do 100% financing, no PMI, so basically a commercial or a conventional loan without a down payment.
And PMI is?
Property Mortgage Insurance. I should not be using logo.
So that PMI on a normal mortgage or FHA, that could be a substantial part of the payment that somebody's paying on a monthly basis, correct?
That's correct. It could be anywhere from $80 to $200 a month added to the house payment. But the benefits of that as well is it on the FHA or the USDA, like your roof has to be within so many years, or it has to meet certain standards to qualify for the loan. With this, it's kind of technically a conventional loan, but you don't have to have the down payment. So that helps with closing costs or buying furniture or remodeling. It's really a great product.
Is that something that City National has done for a while?
Yes.
Have you seen any issues with the zero down payment loans or things like that?
That's just a big benefit.
So if I'm buying a $500,000 house and I'm going to finance 100% of it, do I have to have $600,000 in investment somewhere?
No. Nope. You just have to qualify for the payment.
You have to have a good paying job.
Correct.
Good credit.
Correct.
I presume.
Yep.
And no issues in your past, and you would.
Right. Just meet the credit standards, which are pretty reasonable. 680 median score. And then for the payment to fall within your debt to income ratio, as long as you're making enough money to qualify for the house payment.
And what is that? What is the percentage? What percentage of take home pay should be taken up by the house payment? If I ask
the
that
front
question.
end is 25%.
Okay.
Front end is 25%. Your house payment can be 25%.
25% of your monthly income.
Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about that, and you talk about the loans that you see through Inwood, or maybe you worked in Martinsburg, what is the average loan these days? Is it? Are we talking between 200 and 400,000? Is it 100 to 200,000? What are the loans that you're seeing? Are you seeing a gamut across the board?
They could be anywhere from 200 to 650.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends on the house. As we know, the market, the houses are what used to be 150 or 160,000 are now 240 or 250.
Yep.
So it just depends on the area you're looking to buy. If you're in Charlestown, obviously, it's a little bit more in Jefferson County. Falling Water's a little bit more, but then if you're in Martinsburg or the Inwood area, maybe not quite as much.
Is the rate on a 30-year loan less if I put 40% down than if I put 20% down, than if I put 10% down, than if I put...
Not with Citi.
No?
The interest rate is based on the program that you choose. We have ARM loans. We have a 3.3, a 5.5, a 7.1.
What does that mean?
3.3 means you're locked in for 3 years. At that point, they could review you, and then you're locked in for another 3 years. I know ARM loans scare a lot of people.
Well, that's adjustable rate mortgages, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But with Citi, it's a little different. So they can never take you up more than 2% at review in any given year, but it can't ever go more than 4% for the whole life of the 30-year loan.
And that's different to what happened back in the early 2000s, correct?
That is correct.
That's kind of guaranteeing that we're not going to see this huge interest rate increase, whether it be over time. And based on the market now, we say these are higher interest rates right now, but historically they really are not, correct?
That is correct. Rates are coming down in the low sixes. One of our programs is at 5.99. So basically, let's say you had the 5.99. The most your mortgage could ever be at Citi would be 9.99.
But it could come down too?
It could come down. With the adjustable rate mortgage, if at review rates are low, it could go down as well.
I bought my first house in 1984 on a 13.75% 3-year ARM. So rates have been higher.
Yes, yes they have.
You're absolutely right. People got used to those 2 and 3% during COVID, and the hardest part is the qualification on the house payment. The higher the interest rate, the higher the payment, obviously. Right. But another great thing with Citi is if there's a rate drop, you can actually just pay a $300 modification fee to reduce your interest rate. And you have that opportunity twice within a 30-year period. So $300 the first time, $600 the second time, but you don't have the closing cost. You don't have
fantastic.
to refi. You just pay a fee, and they modify the rate.
So let's talk about the other services that a community bank does. It's not just mortgages and such.
Correct.
You have savings accounts and checking accounts and all of that. You want to talk about any of those products?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have a checking account for all. Literally, we even have a teen checking now. So as young as 13, they can get a checking account, start to learn how to balance and manage money. We have a Community Hero, which is interest-bearing checking account with no minimum balances, no monthly service charges. That's for our firefighters, police officers, teachers, our heroes in the area.
Radio station owners?
Radio
Are they not in there? Full disclosure, TV 10 does bank with Citibank, and I say they're a community bank because obviously we visit them and deposit or take out money on a weekly basis, and they all remember my name. They're very, very good with us, and obviously Citibank.
They remember your name for good reasons or
bad
reasons?
I don't know, John. I don't know about that. Now, we bank at the one on Edwin Miller Boulevard. They're very, very good to us, and obviously they have many representatives around our community that they help. Citi does support our community in many different ways.
Absolutely. We're very community-driven, customer service-driven. Our customers are our top priorities.
Where's the best place to find a bank, or what's the website? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
You can find us on the web at bankitcity.com. We have branches from West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, but just here in our region, we have Berkeley Springs, Spring Mills, Martinsburg, Edwin Miller, King Street, Ranson, Charlestown, Inwood. So wherever you might happen to be in town, stop by. We'll be happy to help you.
So what? I put you on the spot here. All of these, you're all these states, yet it's City National Bank. Any idea why?
I really couldn't answer that question.
And it's got nothing to do with Citibank, the global bank.
CITI.
CITI.
Yep.
Brandy, thank you so much for coming. We're running out of time, but how has the home show been for you?
It has actually been wonderful. People are very inquisitive. We've talked to a lot of people, been able to offer some great products from home equities to mortgages to checking accounts, CDs. We can handle any banking needs that you have.
Go down and see Brandy at the Inwood branch at Citibank. John, thank you so much for spending 5 hours with us this weekend and doing what you do. You always have the best questions, and I want to thank you for that.
A lot of fun.
I look forward to hearing. We got lots of good stuff in the legislature coming up, so you will see all that this weekend. Please make sure you tune in to Eastern Panhandle Talk every morning on WRNR and TV 10, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Don't miss the sports mix, 12 to 1. And, of course, we got all your local sports from every team in the Panhandle. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been TV 10's broadcast of the 28th Annual Home Show. We will see you next year.